Hi, Donna.
What an honor.
What a great pleasure for me, too. Of course, you're probably sitting here thinking about talking about Zen, and I was wondering, here with this world-famous designer, what should I wear, right?
Perfect.
We've just watched a really beautiful vision from the work, the creativity, the mindfulness, and the service, as Larry Brilliant was talking about, that you've developed through urban Zen and through joining mindfulness and yoga. How does yoga fit in? Can you show us you're a yogi, can you show us a yoga posture that you use that helps you in your work? Demonstrate?
I think we're doing it.
Ah.
I think just by being is yoga. Just by being present, by taking a breath, it's yoga. Most people think that putting your legs around your head is yoga. But I really believe that yoga is something that we do all the time, is a consciousness of being and breath work.
Beautiful. So this is your yoga pose.
My yoga, I could. Yeah.
That's one of yours. Innovation and creativity are so important here at Salesforce and in your work. What I'm wondering is, how do you bring together, what's your personal experience of bringing together mindfulness and the creative process? How does it support your creative process as a designer and as a visionary?
I think what happened for me is I was on the go 24/7, constantly moving, constantly going, constantly creating. And I seemed to have what I would call it's all. I had an amazing husband, family, children, and I started doing yoga when I was 18 years old. That was pretty early. That was just about 3 years ago. But since recently, I realized that there needed to be something that I was missing. There was something else out there in the world today, that I was constantly dressing people and constantly putting out, but I wasn't addressing them. And it was great putting them in divine clothing and things like that, but I find myself in the dressing room and realizing that there was a person that I wasn't speaking to. It was that inner person. And it became sort of a mandate of mine that I got very involved with so many people, realizing what their life was about, what they were going through. With their children, with their husbands, with their wives, with their people they work with. And I realized that there needed to be another form of work habits, that I could no longer just dress people, but I needed to address them as well.
How did that, it's beautiful, how did it affect your sense of creativity and responding, whether it's in design or tuning into people? Here, the folks at Salesforce and so forth, they're also trying to be open to creativity. Can you say anything about what that creative process is like and what it means to bring your yoga or mindfulness into your visionary creativity?
I think giving and sharing, which was so articulately put out there today, that it's never about me, it's about the we, and our consciousness of caring for another human being is rather selfish, I have to say, because the more we care, the more we get out of it for ourselves. So just by sharing and caring for another human being is a tremendous gift that you give to yourself.
So in some way, the creativity is supported by your tuning into that other person, as Larry talked about, and others, and somehow having that connection enhances your ability to be responsive and creative.
When people said to me, Haiti, why Haiti? I mean, that was a mind blower for me. I had no idea what I was doing when I was going down to Haiti. It all started by a woman who was running my Urban Zen Center, was Haitian, and she says, Donna, you've got to do something for Haiti. And I said, well, where is Haiti? I didn't even know. And the first place I thought of was Bali. Bali, for me, is sort of a model for what I see the rest of the world being. Bali has a place of creativity. It has people who care and share like no other place I've ever been to. And I realized that to create a community of consciousness and caring and sharing, but by being able to access that which they know, is a way to create a community. And in Haiti, I found out that practically everybody was creative. And for me, that was just a playground opening up.
Can you tell a story about what it was like when you got to Haiti and what you saw or something?
Well, I had a vision, but of course, like most visions, that's not necessarily the way it's going to happen out. You have to experience your vision. And when I went down to Haiti, I realized that I wanted to create a singular community where I would plant bamboo because of the deforestation of the entire community. And it seemed like the most obvious thing to do. And I said, well, what is the most, two most creative areas at Haiti? And they said Jacmel and Croix de Bouquet. And I said, oh, what a great name for a fragrance, Croix de Bouquet. What do they grow? Vetiver. Great, so we could grow vetiver, make it into a fragrance, and all of a sudden that would create jobs. Then I realized that at every place that I went, there was another spark of talent. Huh. And of course, the designer that I am got right into it, and I started saying, oh, where'd that come from? Where'd that come from? And I would get to know the designers and create with the designers, and then realize that education is so vitally important, that I wasn't dealing with just a regular culture where it was a 9-to-5 type of education, and I was meeting with all these artists who had no education background. And I realized that I couldn't go ahead and recreate the norm of what people would think of as education. So we brought in vocational education, because I figured if I would give them a job, then it would be easier for them to support themselves and then to be able to help their other children. So Haiti became a place for me that is sort of a model of what I see in all of the developing world, that creating a community, creating a space and a place where people can create, to give them jobs, to be able to create schools. And in the schools that we do that, we bring meditation, we bring yoga into the educational system, so that there's really a heart and a soul to what we're doing in the country.
And you've done the same thing with Urban Zen then in hospital settings. So what you're trying to do in Haiti, it sounds like you also go to another difficult area, which is people who are in crisis. The people there, or their families who are overwhelmed, or the doctors and nurses and so forth. How did that start for you?
Well, the inspiration, my entire life was brought around birth and death. And I've just finished writing my book right now. So it's just about to come out. And it really does start when I was 3 years old and my dad died. And then after that, my mother died and my boss died. And I was constantly around birth and death. And seeing what was missing in the hospital system. And it became very obvious, particularly with my husband. He had lung cancer. And he used to call me and my woo-woos, as he would call them, because I had my yoga teachers there, I had my meditation people there, I had my essential oils there, and I had all the tools that I needed. But soon he realized that he needed the tools, because my husband was being treated for lung cancer. And in the hospital, they were treating his lung cancer. But where was he being treated as a whole person? So I realized at that point that I had the opportunity and I had the awareness of what he needed. So we would go into the hospitals and we'd bring the essential oils, and everybody would go, what's that? I want that. I want that. Or we would be doing Reiki and they go, oh, can I have that too? And I realized that each and every single one of us is a patient. Every single one of us is a loved one. And there was something really wrong with our healthcare system today. We were missing two major elements. One is, where is the care in healthcare? And the other is, where is direction? Because we find out you've got whatever you've got. Where do I go? patient navigation. So it seems like that's an awfully large pillar to take on. How do you change our healthcare system? How do we change our educational system? And the way to do it is the way we're doing it right now. Inviting all the people to realize that each one of us is a patient and each one of us is the loved one. And how can we change that healthcare and educational system?
Do you get resistance from the hospitals and the places that you're trying to change?
Yes.
And what do you do with that? How, I mean,
we've already trained.
This is all, Salesforce is also all about change, but there's resistance when you try to make change.
It takes meditation. I think we have to be very centered and very guided to realize that we're here with purpose. We're here with purpose to make that change. And what are the changes that need to be made in our environmental system today? Education definitely needs a change. If we would have every child be doing yoga and meditation before a class starts, could you imagine how much more knowledge they would have? That would be extraordinary. So each and every one of us is affiliated with a school or has a child, and we should be delivering that message. So it's sort of a chain of action. And as far as hospitals go, my call out to most people when I meet them into every single area is take a look at how we can change the hospital system. Because we're all going to be there. How do we want to be taken care of in the hospital system? So it really is individually up to us. I mean, certainly at Urban Zen, you know, I said, well, this is great. You know, I see the opportunity, and we've trained 700 integrative therapists by now, and we're in hospitals throughout the country. But it really does take the community who really wants to make the change.
So when you use the word Zen and Urban Zen, can you say something about Zen, how that fits for you?
I'm starting to think I should name the company Urban Chaos. Because I figured I was a lot better in the chaos area than I am in the Zen area. I think if you put it out there, it will happen. So I put out the word urban, where we have so much chaos. How do we find the calm in the chaos? Urban Zen.
So Zen in that way represents for you finding that still center in the middle of all the chaos and swirl of life.
And certainly New York is a place of utter chaos, as we all know.
So tell me about your own practice. Do you practice Zen? You sounds like you practice yoga. What's work for you?
My morning practice every day is, it's my time. You know, and I'm very selfish about that. There's a lot of things that I'm not selfish about, but my morning is my time. And the first thing I do every morning is I do yoga and meditation. So that's how I start my day every day. And I try to get my meditation in at night, but it's usually so late that I'm usually a little bit tired. I try to do it in the office as well, to give myself a little bit, even if it's a little 10 minutes or on the car ride of where I'm going, is take that breath work and find that centering in myself before going out and starting that day.
What do you do when you meditate? What kind of meditation do you do? Because there are different kinds. Meng talked about using the breath. Tara talked about naming what's happening in your experience and your emotions. How do you do it?
First of all, I ground myself. I start with my breath work. I start from the top. Close my eyes. Take a breath in. And I have a mantra.
And you use your mantra after that as the way to quiet the mind and settle yourself. And does it take very long, do you find, after even a few minutes, or does it take a long time?
I could go out very quickly.
Yeah.
You know, it's really kind of fun. I can go on and I can go off, but once I go off, it's hard for me to come back sometimes. I like to stay there.
Yeah, so then there's the question of, all right, now I'm in this place, how do I bring it back into the chaos?
I find all of a sudden this amazing amount of calm all around me. I finally find that Zen moment, that breath work.
And then can you carry it back into the design process and into the work?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So do you still find times when having that as a tool where there's stress or anxiety or setbacks, reviews of all the work you do or something where it's difficult? And how do you work with that?
I find there's a balance between the two. I think by nature, I'm a doer. I think every part of my being is visceral. So I like the feel and touch of everything. So I'm extremely, extremely sensitive. So whether it be my feet that I'm feeling, or my calves that I'm feeling, or my hands that I'm feeling, is that whole kind of Zen type of feeling within inside my own self. But I also have that feeling towards others.
So it
as I can look around here and I see so many people here, it's like this tremendous heartfelt love and compassion for all the people sitting here today, knowing that within this group, how much change could occur.
So it sounds like the quieting really leads you pretty spontaneously, not just to be embodied, but somehow to your heart, to compassion or connection with others.
Oh, it's a form of life. If it's a form of love, I am very attached to nature. Nature is a calling for me. Whether it be the water and the sky, and, as a designer, I'm constantly being inspired by that which is around me. I can't tell you how many collections I've tried to do off the water. And then once I did a collection off the trees and the leaves on the trees, and I figured, how many color greens are there? And I did a collection of green. That wasn't too successful. My blue collections are much more successful than my green collections, even though I love black.
So I did dress right after
Thank you
all.
very much.
Thank you. So underlying this, as you get quieter and as you somehow open the vision of urban Zen, there's some kind of a dream that you have. It sounds like you talked about it in terms of changing the healthcare system or education. Here are all these folks who are working at Salesforce, many of them anyway, or who've come in from the outside. What can you say to us about the dream you carry, or how we can access or be true to our own dreams?
My dream is that in every city, in every community, they find their own urban Zen, to find their calm and their chaos, by creating a community, by creating an office space, to realize, how can we make an effect in the healthcare system? How can we make an effect in the educational system? How can we make an effect in that which touches our heart? Because I don't think, the word philanthropy is being used at such a mass level right now. Everybody feels, oh, I have to be philanthropic. I don't think you have to do anything. I think you want to do it. I think it's that drawing force, that why do you love what you love? And I think out of everything on a philanthropic level has to come from one place, and that's from your heart. If something is calling you, that's a call out. If it's unacceptable, I don't want to see the hospitals operating the way they want right now. I want to see meditation going into the educational system. Could you just imagine, just everybody being quiet, is that every time you walk into a place that you have somebody having a guided meditation before the day starts? How brilliant would that be? We live in such a world of chaos right now. There is the opportunity of finding the calm. I once had an idea. It's kind of silly, apropos to what we were saying, what you were saying about meditation in the office, that if for 1 minute every single day you touch one person and be silent for 1 moment, so there would be a oneness. A complete connection of 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And it would start where the sun rose. So where is that? Where's the sunrise?
Apparently in the east.
In the east.
You could pick this spot because it's always rising.
Where the sun is rising. But at that time when the sun rose, everybody would touch one person at 1 o'clock every single day for 1 minute. the world will be connected as one.
So this is beautiful. It's a little bit connected to Meng's vision of creating world peace
Right.
in this very simple and immediate way. Is there any formal way you bring these principles into the work at DKNY, or your design work and all the people that work for you, or is it that you just encourage people?
No, Urban Zen is actually a form of a community, and there are Urban Zen centers, and we do work right here in San Francisco. We're about to start at UCF. What is it?
UCSF?
UCSF is starting to bring the Urban Zen integrative therapist system into there, which is going to be absolutely fantastic, which I'm very excited about. We're at UCLA right now in LA. So it is a question of, one, finding out where there are Urban Zen integrative therapists that are in your community. We have a website, which all the information is right there. Or if you want to take your own Urban Zen integrative therapist experiential training, which I think is as important for you yourself to take the training as it is to have a trainer. Because once you're trained within it yourself, and that's because there's no question every single one of us is going to be hit by something. And we have to find that calm in the chaos. So first of all is learning how to take care of yourself, and then learning how to take care of that which you love.
And I'll just go back. Did you use it in an explicit way or translate it also into your business and the way that people work there in that work environment, or work with you or for you?
Absolutely. First of all, at Anne Klein, Donna Karen, sorry. That was, I just got way back. I was in such calm, I thought about 40 years ago. But at Donna Karen, we used to have meditation there, we did yoga there. I was a high proponent of it at all times.
So I'm hearing an invitation from you, first for people to look at Urban Zen and its trainings, including what's coming to San Francisco. But the second is that in the work environment, as well as in the Urban Zen work, you created spaces and invitation and possibility for people to use these tools.
Absolutely. There are Urban Zen integrative therapists that can come work in the environment. We've been asked to work in business environments as well as in hospitals right now. We've been asked to work in assisted living. Assisted living has become a major, major part of the Urban Zen integrative therapist program.
Right, so these are all places where there's both suffering, or some of them anyway, the hospitals or assisted living and so forth, and then where these tools can make an immediate difference.
Absolutely.
And then,
I highly recommend essential oils as a tool for yourself. You know, I could see it in every single hotel room, that all you have to do is push on a button of a TV and have a guided meditation, have the essential oils be in every single room. I mean, there's no reason for us not to be living a life such as this and being exposed to it as much as possible.
I hope it's true. I hope it happens at Salesforce and spreads out from all the people who are listening online, the vision that you carry. And mostly, I just want to thank you for the beautiful work of Urban Zen and the honor to talk to you.
Oh, it's my honor to speak with you.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.